Hello. Just let everyone in. Hello. Let's see. Adjust my camera. Welcome, welcome. There's just one, maybe two people still to come. We're going to start standing. So, and if you do want to stand, and I think Caroline's having problems joining. Are you here? Hello. If you do want to stand against the wall, if you have a space, a free space that doesn't have like a radiator or a picture frame, then do, because it's quite a nice way of just sort of finding that lovely sense of where your posture is actually at in your standing position. But otherwise, I'm just going to wait here for a moment because Emma is coming, I think. So come to your standing position by placing your feet directly underneath the bony parts of your pelvis. So as ever, let's just have a little feel, taking your hands onto your pelvis, maybe even have a sense of the front and the back of the pelvis. Sometimes it can be really quite grounding simply to place your hands on your own body. But finding the two bony protrusions, place your feet directly underneath those two parts. So it's actually quite a narrow base of support, slightly in from the outside of the hip, releasing your feet. That's okay, Caroline, don't worry. Releasing your feet directly underneath. And then just start from the feet up. I want you to really press all 10 toes down. So think about lifting them up first and then gradually soften them down one by one. Maybe do that a couple of times. Just getting to know your toes a little bit. And then see how it feels. So I've got to readjust my camera. So Emma, oh, is Emma, she didn't come, she's not here. Oh, I thought she arrived. Are you there? Yeah, there we go. So Emma, we can come against the wall if you want to, if you have a space which is wide, otherwise just standing, freestanding, with our feet directly underneath the bony parts of the pelvis. And I want you to start from the feet by really considering how they feel today. So maybe just rise up onto the toes a couple of times, release down, working through the arch of the foot. Thinking about when you rise up, what happens to the heels? Do they kind of ping away from each other, or can you imagine you're pressing a pedal down with the toes and you're releasing all the way directly up? So just going to do this a few times, just thinking purely about the feet. I don't need to worry too much at the moment about the rest of the body, but you might find automatically that you organize yourself into your Pilates spine. Last one. And then now with a renewed kind of energy in your feet, think about placing the hip bones directly above that ankle joint and then organizing the rib cage directly above the hips. And where's the head? Notice if you are feeling like your head naturally kind of bows a little bit. See if you can reorganize the back of the head in line with the spine, but notice what happens to the chin if you do that. Does it poke up? See if you can bring the chin so that it's parallel to the floor. So you've got a lovely organized spine. And now just roll the shoulders a few times. So let's just really find the shoulder blades on the back. Feel them moving forward as you roll the shoulders forwards, up, and then all the way down. So really take your time with this. Maybe let the elbows get involved. You can kind of roll the elbows up and around. Let's do one more. And release the arms down and just see how that feels with the shoulder blades on the back now. Notice if you feel more conscious of them, just as you're more conscious of your feet. And then I want you to rise up onto the toes once more, and this time really consider the placement of the whole body as you're lifting up. So the crown of the head lengthening all the way to the ceiling, and then on your way down you're going to float the arms up. So as you release the heels down, the arms come up, palms facing forward. They come up only as far as you want. So for me, the ceiling's quite low, so I'm only going up to here. And then release the arms down as you rise up once more. So you can coordinate this with the breath however you want, really breathing in to float up with the arms, breathing out to roll, to float down, or vice versa. So just see how you feel. Either way, let your in-breath last for the entire movement up or down, and the out-breath last for the entire movement. Let's do 2 more. And release. Thinking about the shoulder blades, allow them to move on the back, but try not to let the shoulders, tops of the shoulders roll up to the ears. So let's keep the neck long and the shoulders soft. And then releasing the heels down, the arms stay down. And then from here, we're going to step into a little calf stretch. So I want you to peel your right foot up from the floor. Coming into a little sort of knee fold, but without hitching the hips. So see if you can find the pelvis staying as stable as possible as you float that leg in. And then I want you to step the leg back. So a kind of comfortable stride. You're walking in a hurried way down Oxford Street. And then bend that front leg, straightening into the back leg. So you should feel a little stretch into the calf, particularly if you keep that heel all the way down. So really lengthen. Try not to arch the back. Let's see if we can keep the lower belly sort of coming in towards your spine a little bit, almost tucking the tailbone under. You might find it in the hip as well. Breathe in here. Relax the shoulders. And then coming more into the feet. So I want you to press into this left supporting foot as you straighten this front leg. And you're just going to then lift and lengthen the back leg and just tilt yourself forward. As far as feels comfortable, you can come into a kind of full T if you want, or you can keep yourself in a little diagonal, whichever feels right. So I want you to really stand into this supporting leg. And then lower. And you're going to bring this leg all the way through into that knee fold. Let's do that one more time on this side. So in the knee fold, checking in with your pelvis, whether you're hitched, whether you can feel the waist is long on either side. Feed that leg back through, give a little lift of your lower belly, sending that leg into a calf stretch, bending the front knee, checking you're not swiveling. Both hip bones want to be facing forward, shoulders relaxed, not arching the back. Remember, we're keeping a softness through the front of the body. Stretch. And then standing into this left foot, let's just bring the weight into all 5 toes and the heel, straighten the leg, lifting that back leg up. You can sort of do what you want with the arms. They can either rebalance just hanging down or reach forward or on your hips. And then lower and then bring and then release that foot down. So just notice for a minute, back in that hip width apart, how you feel. Close your eyes. Allow the sensations through the feet, the knees, the hips, up through the waist, just to kind of meander through the breath. So taking a few nice soft long breaths here as you just notice how each side of the body is feeling. Left leg, left shoulder, right shoulder. And let's press both feet into the floor, rising up onto the toes once more. And release it down. This time a little bend as well. So knees directly over the toes, just coming into a little mini bend to try and work into the ankles and the hips. Let's do it again, rising up. And slowly lower, a little bend. Let's do one more like this, rising up. Lower, little bend. And this time go into a complete squat. So into your little Pilates squat with the arms coming up, or you can have them down if that's not great for your shoulders or your neck. And then I want you to dive forward and just roll into your forward fold. Breathing in. Let the shoulders relax, the head be heavy. And you're going to roll up bone by bone. The front of the body rebuilding, crown of the head lifting, nice and even on either side. So from here, other side, you're going to float your right knee in, No, I did the right knee before, didn't I? Didn't I? Left knee, sorry. No, your left knee, and I pivoted and still did the same side. And I want you to check if, like me, you favour one side, whether this side you've hitched up without thinking about it. So just consider how it feels, even just standing on one leg on the other side. Soften the shoulders if you need to. Hug that thigh bone in if it helps you to stop dropping in the pelvis. And then from here, with control, you're going to stride back. So it's not very wide, it's not too crazy. I want you to feel like you're grounded, but you're also hip width apart, remember, so you're not walking on a tightrope. Bending into that front knee, softening the hips so they're level though, so we're not swiveling. And you want to feel that stretch in the back and the calf of that left leg. Relax the shoulders, check in with your lower back. Are you arching? See if you can draw your lower belly in a little bit to really find that sense of length through the spine. Breathe. You're going to press into this right foot, begin to straighten the right leg as you lengthen that left leg away. Now you might just stay here. You might come into a little T shape. You might add the arms. See how you feel. And then lower, bring that leg directly back through. Breathe. Let's from here send that leg back behind you into your calf stretch. Check your hips are square, haven't swiveled. Draw the lower belly in and up a little bit if you need to. Breathing in. And then pressing into that right foot, send the leg away, straightening the right leg. Really feel like you're grounded and strong, down into the ground. Breathe. And then coming through, back into that single knee fold. And then release it down. Same thing again, just for a moment, noticing how it feels. So in the hip, the knee, the foot, if there are any sensations at all, just gently breathe into them. Let's add a little arm with the breath. So breathing in, both arms come out to the side as you breathe in. Breathing out, press the air away. Let's do 2 more. Breathe in to rise up with the arms. Breathing out. Last one like this, breathing in, floating the arms. And press. Now when you get to the bottom, just lift the heels and bring them together. So we're coming into our Pilates stance. So it's heels together, but not just the heels. I want you to really think about this movement coming from the tops of the thigh bones. So you're wrapping the thigh bones around. You should feel the buttock muscles switching on a little bit to maintain or open that rotation. Heels glued together. Feel the inner thighs squeezing together too. So it's quite an active stance. Imagine you're kind of wearing really tight legging around both legs. Breathe in. Breathing in, floating the arms up. And as you breathe out, press the arms down. You're going to rise up onto your toes. And this time you're keeping the heels together. So we're trying to press the toes down, but keeping the heels. It's kind of like a little plie here. We're going to float the arms up. And as you come down, you're bending the knees. This time directly over the toes once more. And again, rising up with the arms come down, lifting into the heels. Squeeze those inner thighs a little bit. And then slowly lower and release. Let's do 1 more. The arms come down, squeeze the inner thighs, rise up onto the toes. The heels are glued like magnets. And then release and lift. Then from here, just release the arms down, stay in that plie. You're going to pick the heels up and then press yourself up into that heel lifted position. Lower down, bend. And then pick the heels up. So we're kind of opening more into that Pilates stance from the thighs, but then releasing up all the way. So try and keep the spine upright as you do the work through the ankles. So we're trying not to tilt too much here. The work will be coming from the tops of those thighs. You'll probably be feeling it quite a lot in the ankle joints. Let's do 1 more. Pick up the heels, press the floor away and lower. All the way back down. Let's bring the heels back to hip width apart. I'm actually going to take my socks off. We're going to come into a little roll down. So from here, saying hello to your toes again. Let's take a breath in. As you breathe out, before we roll down, I want you to rise up onto your toes. And if you can, even for just a millisecond, nod your nose forward while your toes are still lifted, and then start, as you roll down, allow the heels to settle whenever you need them to. So even if it's just a microsecond, it doesn't matter, just the intention is there. Breathing in at the bottom. Really luxuriate in this floppity flop. Let the arms relax, maybe take the elbows, maybe nod the head, shake the head. Release the arms down. Now we're working a little bit more into the ankle joints here. So placing the hands on the floor, you can bend your knees if you need to. Pick up one heel and then the other. So let's just walk through the feet. We're bending the knee as you pick up the heel. One more on either side. And then release those heels down, breathing in. And as you breathe out, let's roll up. When you've rebuilt the head on top of the spine, find the toes in the floor, rise up. And then as before, try and nod your head, even if just for 3 seconds, before you then roll all the way down, letting the heels come down. Breathing in, breathing out, rolling back. You can bend your knees as much as you need to. It's a movement for the spine. It doesn't have to be in the hamstrings. Let the shoulders soften in the back. When you found your balance, head on top of the spine, press the floor away one last time. And then roll all the way down. Breathing in, breathing out. And releasing it up. Lovely. So now from here, come to the end of your mat. Let's roll ourselves down bone by bone, finding the floor, bending the knees as much as you need to in order to fully connect to the floor with your hands. So like you've got 4 legs. You want to release your hands and your feet down evenly into the mat. And just take a moment to consider how that feels. Try and let the shoulders relax, the head relax. Breathe. Do you feel that each of your toes has as much dexterity as each of your fingers? And then gently lower yourself down either into a plank for a moment or into 4-point kneeling. So whichever you feel more comfortable with, either way, we're just gently going to rock forward and back. So if you're in your 4-point kneeling, allow your spine to rock forward and back. If you're in your plank, you're working a bit more into your heels. And then open the knees quite wide. Let's rock ourselves all the way back into your rest position. So it's a really lovely way of just connecting and fully grounding into the mat now. Breathe. Breathe. Now just notice how your shoulders feel. You might feel that instead of having your arms lengthening out in front of you, actually you prefer to give yourself a little cocoon hug. Either way, just feel that connection with the forehead into your mat. And really let go of any tension around your neck and your shoulders. Breathing into the back of the body. And then from here, we're just going to roll ourselves up, bone by bone. Now, I want you to organise yourself on your mat in your mermaid position. Now, you might need 1 or 2 pillows because it can be a slightly uncomfortable position to feel that the hips aren't grounded. Let's take our right foot in front and the left leg around the side. If you need a pillow underneath your left side of your bum to stop the left side lifting up, then do. Otherwise, even if you don't feel a connection or feel grounded through the bum, see if you can let both sides of your waist lengthen evenly. So what would it take to just ever so slightly soften? Now, if this is difficult for your knees, you can come into whichever position might be more comfortable with the legs in a symmetrical position. So don't work through any discomfort through the pelvis. It's exactly the same on the spine if you want to do it with the legs through central. It's just slightly more challenging for the core to maintain this. So let's take both arms, just lengthen them down by your side. Relax the shoulders. You're going to float your right arm up towards the ceiling. Now really try and feel the waist lengthening out of the hips here. I want you to reach up and over. Soft shoulder, long neck. So we're trying to keep that shoulder from reaching to the ear, and instead imagine it lengthening out of the rib cage area. Breathe. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And then float the arm out. Find the floor with the arm. Let the elbow rest and lengthen all the way up and over. Again, notice if the shoulder wants to reach up. See if you can find that space. And then let's windmill the arms, go all the way the other way. Now you might want to crisscross the arms. Take that left arm across to the right knee. You don't have to. It's quite a nice kind of sense of spiraling opposition. And then float, lengthen the elbow down, reach up. Last one, we're going to windmill, lifting up. So you might feel the waist muscles really working here to re-stabilize and lift. And then lower. The elbow comes down. Now you might want to stay here, or you can lift your waist up. And if you want to, you can come onto the hand and come all the way up. So it's a bit more of a kind of stretch and opening through the hips. And then coming back through center. Let's keep the arms lifted if you can and transition to the other side with your arms lifted if you can. So kind of adjusting the jumper if you need to. Now see how it feels on this side. So you automatically feel one, it's easier, one side's harder. Notice if this side feels less stable or more around the pelvic area. And just take a few moments if you can to recalibrate. So just soften the shoulders. Lengthen the crown of the head, draw in and up through your pelvic floor if that helps you to kind of just soften and ground through the hips. Let's release the arms down by your side and the left arm comes up. Relax that shoulder rest, soften the neck, reach up and over. Breathe into that space on the left side of the waist. And then float the arms, find the floor with the elbow, lift up and over, all the way across. Breathe. And again, strong center as you lift. Maybe crisscross the arms this time, lengthening over. And then reach. Find the floor low with control. Reach over. Last one. And then remember, on this last one, you can do the same, just the elbow down, or the hand comes down and you lift up. Lift up that hip. Really find the opening on the top side of the waist. Breathe. And then from here, rather than coming back down to center, I want you to place that right hand down and then come onto all fours. So into your 4-point kneeling position. Breathing in here. Let's try and find the knees directly underneath the hips, the shoulders underneath, sorry, the hands underneath the shoulders. Take a lovely deep breath into your lower belly. And as you breathe out, without moving the spine, let's draw the lower belly up and in. And breathe in, let it soften. Breathe out. Let's just do 2 more like that. So we're just trying to wake up the abdominal muscles against gravity. Finding maybe that pelvic floor connection a little bit as well. See if you can do that without tilting the lower back and the pelvis. Last one, breathe in. Breathe out, lifting through your center. Now this time, tuck the tailbone, tuck the toes underneath you and send your tailbone towards the ceiling. The heels want to work their way down to the floor, but only if you can without rolling the back. So see if you can keep the spine lengthened. It doesn't matter if the knees need to bend. Breathe. And then with control, lower those knees, lower, lower, lower. The knees come wide, the toes come together, release yourself all the way back. And then we're rolling up with control. And now's the favourite part of the evening. You get to lie on your back. So I want you to squish your legs through underneath you. Make sure you scuttle your bum towards the end of the mat so you've got enough room. You also want to make sure you've got a couple of pillows nearby. Taking the hands behind your thighs, really connect with your thighs and allow that to bring your spine a bit more upright. So see if you can use your own body weight to kind of draw the shoulder blades into the back, almost drawing your heart center forward a little bit. So we're not tucking under, we want to feel really upright on those sitting bones to begin with. Take a breath in. Now, if you do want a little bit more challenge for your abdominals, you can bring the arms out in front of you. Otherwise, stay here until you feel a bit stronger. You're gonna, on an out breath, draw in through the pelvic floor. So imagine lifting the muscles up and in and away from the mat. And then maintain that lift if you can. Send the tailbone underneath you as if you're sending your tailbone towards your heels. Try and keep the upright, or try to keep the top of your spine upright as possible. It's almost like I'm holding a little puppet string above your head, and you're going to be lowering your spine down towards the mat, but without collapsing in the chest. So we're keeping quite active. Lower, 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 then release the head, the shoulders, bring your feet closer towards your bum, and just completely relax. So let's take the hands onto the belly, the pelvis area to begin with, and allow your elbows to fully relax into the floor. Notice what's happening around the shoulder blades, around the back of the neck. Gently roll the head from side to side, so allow your nose to travel across from one shoulder to the other. If you feel there's any stickiness in the neck at all, just go very gently and slowly, but do try and allow there to be a release. So try and breathe into any spaces that feel particularly tight. And then bring the head back through center. So from here, you're going to float the arms up towards the ceiling, palms facing forward. Make sure, unlike me, you haven't got a water bottle that could easily be knocked over, particularly if you've forgotten to put the top on. So relaxing those shoulders. Let's maybe do a couple of shoulder drops first. So the palms can face together or forward. Breathing in to rise up through the fingertips. Breathing out. Drop that shoulder down. Other side. Breathe in to lift. Breathe out to drop. So kind of like a rag doll. You want to reach, reach, reach up and then drop it down. And then reach up and drop it down. One more either side. And then bring the palms to face forward again. Let's take a breath in here. Now I want you to imagine that your tummy, your pelvis rather, is very heavy. So feel like as you release on the movement, we're going to release the arms behind us. We don't want that to pull the pelvis or pull the rib cage with us. So imagine the bottom of your ribs, and let's take your hands onto them first if you need to, and the top of your pelvis are really soft and connected down towards the mat. Breathing in, and as you breathe out, lengthen the arms back behind you. And then float the arms up to the ceiling, and then all the way back down. So really work, imagine you're working through substance in the air. There's an energy through the palms. And we're going to press the arms all the way back. Soft ribs, heavy pelvis. Float the arms up and press them. Imagine you're working through water as you release them all the way down. One more like that, float them up. And reach it back, lengthen up. And this time, as you press the arms forward, I want you to nod the chin to the chest and just gentle curl up without any movement through the pelvis and the lower spine once more. And then you're going to lift up. And this time, reaching the arms all the way back, strong tummy. I want you to slide one leg away and then bring it back as you float the arms up and then curling up, looking down towards your belly. Float the arms up as you lower down, and as you send the arms back, you're going to lengthen one leg away. So really now actively connect into the abdominals a little bit more consciously. The arms come up, the heel comes back. You're going to float, curl forward. One more either side. As you slide the arms, release the arms away, you slide the leg back. And then coming up, the heel comes back towards your bum, you curl up and roll forward. Last one, the arms come back up. All the way back as you slide that leg away. Remember ribs towards the pelvis as the heel comes away and the fingertips lengthen back. And curling up. And then release all the way down. Good. Now from here, relax those shoulders. We're floating the arms back again. And this time you're going to bend your elbows. So you're coming into kind of a surrender position. If you need to lift them slightly higher, then do. Just see whether you can lower them towards the floor. And if you can, notice if anything's happening with the rib cage. Can you lower them without the ribs pinging up? And then reach them back and float them up once more. Let's do that again. Lengthen the arms back behind you. Bend those elbows, so stretching into the front of those armpits, chest area. Reach it back and press. Now, if this causes any issues or pain around the rotator cuff, the top of the shoulder, work only within a pain-free zone. So if that means being here, then that's where you need to be, okay? So only go in this position if it feels completely pain-free. Shoulders do not need to be tested like this. Let's do one more. Arms come back, bend, and then you're going to reach the arms out, leave them there. So let them settle on the floor. If they need to be a lower V, if that's easier in the shoulders, then take that position. So from here, we're going to float one leg in, followed by the other, into your double knee fold. Really squeeze those inner thighs together. Feel nice and strong in this position. Now with control, you're going to lower yourself across to the left. So I want you to lower, lower, lower. With control, squeeze, 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 and then all the way down. Keeping that right arm lengthening out to the right. Maybe look out over your right shoulder. Maybe bend that right arm back into that cactus position or work around it a little bit to sort of get a little stretch. Take your left hand onto your right rib cage if that helps you to breathe. And then when you're ready, strong center here. So you can either bring your feet to the floor and that can help you, or I want you to really draw in through the lower belly to help you float those legs back through center without any juddering or pull on your lower spine. Let's take a breath in. And as you breathe out with control, squeezing the inner thighs, lower down, lower, 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 carefully and gently all the way to the mat. And then with this left arm, you might want to kind of do a couple of half snow angels or a little cactus arm, whichever works for you to get the right stretch. So some of these stretches can be amazingly juicy here, but only work where it's a stretch and not sharp pain. Okay, so shoulders don't like sharp pain, and I wouldn't advocate that. Breathe, maybe with the hand on that left side of the ribs. And with control, strong tummy, inner thighs, we're going to float those legs back up through center. Then just take hold of the knees and draw them in, just gently rolling from side to side. Let's take hold of your left leg, release the right leg away, coming into a lovely stretch for your hip flexors, relax the shoulders. And change. Right leg in, left leg away. And change. So I want you to now come into a little bit of dynamic single leg stretch. So you can either stay in this lying hip flexor position, or if you'd quite like a little bit more abdominal work, I want you to come into your curling up hip flexor stretch. So let's do 4 on either side, sending the leg away. Change as you change your arm position. So you're looking down towards your belly, the neck is long, 1 more either side. Knees come back in, head releases, breathe. Let's come into a full body stretch. The legs come away, the arms come behind you, breathe. Notice the shoulders, sorry, the rib cage, whether they pinged up to the ceiling. See if you can just soften them down a little bit, actively drawing in through the center. And then the arms come up, the feet come in, and the arms release all the way down. Let's take a nice deep breath in here. Arms now down by your side rather than on your belly. Breathing in, as you breathe out, let's roll up through the spine, spine curl. So pressing the feet into the ground, you're trying to connect through all 10 toes. Lift the spine, but without arching the back. So see if you can connect those ribs towards the hips. Lift the buttocks, breathing in. Breathing out, roll it down. Let's do that again. So 4 more times, just in your own time, rolling up, wheeling bone by bone, all 10 toes heavy, and rolling it down. Lifting it up. Really actively use the buttocks. If you can't feel them kicking in, I want you to squeeze them. Imagine them lifting the weight of your pelvis. Breathing in. So if the more you squeeze your bum, the less your hamstrings will work here. So if you are getting any cramping in the hamstrings, it's just a sign of the bum being a little bit lazy on its duties. They quite like other muscles to kind of do the jobs that they can't be bothered to do sometimes. Let's do 1 more. And roll it down. And then let's do the floating of the arms with your spine. So I want you to lift the spine up bone by bone. The arms come to the ceiling. Now lengthen them all the way back, but without arching the back. So see if you can keep the belly strong and soft, keep the tummy, keep the buttocks working. Now you're going to float the spine down, leaving the arms behind you. And then lengthen the arms up, and this time curl. So adding the same movement we did before, but this time at the end of your spine curl. And again, the arms come up. The spine comes up. Release the arms back. Roll the spine down. The arms come up. You curl up. Now you might find that you're kind of caterpillaring along the mat. Let's do that 1 more time. Floating the arms up as the spine comes up. Reach the arms back. Roll the spine down. Strong tummy, real heavy pelvis, so draw the belly in as you curl up. Now let's float 1 knee in, followed by the other. Curl your forehead towards your knees, little tight ball, and then release the head and shoulders, sorry, the fingertips and the arms all the way back into your full body stretch. And then organize yourself into a lovely comfy relaxation position. So wherever that is for you, whether that's relaxing with the hands on the belly, the legs up, maybe on the wall or the sofa. You might want to lie on your side with a pillow in between your legs and cuddling it underneath your head, whichever feels more comfy and secure for you. Because I'm going to leave you in this position, I would like you to stay for as long as you can, just breathing, feeling supported by the ground underneath you, allowing your breath to lengthen, really coming into your rest digest mode in preparation for bed. So allow the floor underneath you to really support your weight. See if you can elongate the out breath to be longer than your in-breath. Congratulate yourself for making it onto your mat tonight. And I hope you sleep very, very well. Stay there for as long as you feel supported and restful. Good night.